Brad, how did you assess that overall?
That game?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was a very horrendous start. Probably typified by key defender getting a knock in the first contest of the game, and certainly didn't plan to sub McDonald, Tip and Woody inside the first 5 minutes of the game, but it took longer than that because of the scat test and all that sort of stuff. But no, it was just again, really disappointing effort in the contest, and I suppose the positive after quarter time, we were able to stabilise the game somewhat, albeit the scoreboard didn't stabilise mainly due to inaccuracy. But no, we were just outplayed in the first quarter, and the reality where we are at the moment is that, like we've been consistent all year with where we're at, we've just got a heap of work to do, and we've said that, and I've said that after wins, after losses, and nothing really changes from that perspective. But the last few weeks in particular, it's just proven that where we're at the moment, we need to get a lot better to bridge the gap to the best teams. And when we have 6 or 10 of our best players out, we just can't cover that at the moment. And so, we need to improve our list. We need to improve our football department. We need to improve right across the board. But and the recency bias is real. Like it's in a perverse way, the players leave with a sick feeling in their stomach, and that should drive their off season. And this is the first opportunity I've got to drive an off season, not even a pre-season, an off season, as to what that looks like and the expectations that we have, because the observations of the last 9 to 12 months is nowhere near where it needs to be. So we'll get that right.
Is that in line with your expectations, Brad? Like, you came into this with eyes wide open. Like, how does the outcome tonight compare to your expectations at the start of the season?
Oh, well, it depends if the outcome tonight versus the totality of the season. I mean, if you said at the start of the year we win 11 games, be 5th on the ladder with 6 weeks to go in the season or whatever it was, and be in contention to play finals, you'd say, not sure that's exactly where we're at. I'm not sure we're that far advanced. So the season in totality, there've been some good steps taken forward, but we took some big steps backwards in the last 2 weeks. But what do you put that down to? I mean, it's not an excuse, but the reality is we just can't cover our best players being out, and bringing players back from long-term injuries who just can't play at the level yet. But again, if you told me at the start of the year we'd have a fair chunk of our best players out, I said, well, we're replacing them with 18, 19-year-olds. And that in the long term will be good for us, but it's very, very difficult to cover in the short term.
Does the group need to get a lot fitter over the summer?
I don't think it's a fitness issue. No, we've run the best running teams in the competition to wins or very close losses this year. No, it's certainly there's a difference between training hard, and I think everyone trains hard, to what an AFL lifestyle looks like. So that's the area I'm more concerned about and need to address.
Can you get into specifics, like in terms of what areas of their lifestyle they need to get right? Is it in terms of diet or just mental?
Oh, no. It's just when you've got 18, 19-year-olds, they don't know what they don't know yet. And there's Zach Merritt's been fantastic for us this year, both on and off field. He's been a terrific leader. Dyson Heppel as well, Andy McGrath. But we need a bigger core group of leaders who can set the example for what the very best look like and what they train like. And this is not having a go at the group. It's just the reality of where we're at. And we have had it rammed home to us really clearly that there's a gap between us and the best sides, and we have to take extraordinary measures to bridge that gap, because if we just keep rolling along, we'll just be an okay team that's capable of beating some teams on good days, but get smacked by the good teams on bad days.
There's extraordinary measures like preparedness to trade players, perhaps try and not shortcut, but fast track, rejuvenating your list.
I will just always look to keep improving the list, but again, recency bias is a real thing. Like if we performed really well the last 2 weeks and just missed out in the finals, the risk is everyone thinks, are we going okay? and potentially we don't make the hard decisions that we need to. Now that the hard decisions become easier. Now, what that means in terms of list management, it's too early to tell. But yeah, we're certainly in a very, very strong position in terms of list management to be able to improve our list.
How much will you use the last fortnight to drive across the summer? Will it be something you focus on, or is it just broader picture in terms of the year?
No, I think we look at it all. I think there'll be a big contrast. And then that's the disappointing thing about the last 2 weeks. I think a bit of a hallmark of the way we play is that we've been competitive against everyone. But again, it's not as simple as not having your best available. We put out a 23, tonight that should have performed better than it did. So we're really disappointed about it. But I thought tonight showed, and I'm not going to go into detail as to what they are, but showed some really, really clear areas that we just need to fix and get better at. Fundamental stuff. And I'm not going to go into great detail, but just simple things like, clean hands, handballing, like just really basic stuff that we can train and improve. And that's my job.
Sorry, but have enough of the older guys driven the standards enough that you touched on earlier?
This year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Merritt's been elite. Langford, McGrath, like we've got we do have a core group of them. We just need more. And it's not often that you have a list where like Andrew Phillips, has been fantastic for us this year. But I think we started the year with 2 30-year-olds. So that even go back over some of the senior players' career, they've been through a fair bit of turmoil and a fair bit of instability, and they just need really strong direction, and that's my job to provide that, and my job to provide the framework for the off-season and pre-season that's going to put us in a position to compete against the best, because it's no fun sitting here in August without a game in 2 weeks' time.
You touched on improving the football department. Is there anything in particular you're looking to do there?
Just right across the board. We'll just review it really strongly and make some changes that we think will make us better.
Touching on the injuries, do you expect to have some end-of-season surgeries through some players?
Not really. The list is pretty thin. There's a couple of very minor. Jake Stringer's already had surgery, so he's got a jump start on getting right for the pre-season. The frustration is the reason a lot of them are not having surgery is because they've been out for the last 10 weeks. So, but we should come through it pretty quickly. And again, we're really conservative with, 6 players who are out who played last week, but clearly, they weren't ready to play. So, but with the information we had at the time, I'm comfortable with the decision we made, even though clearly it wasn't the right one.
Mindful, Brad, you've obviously, I think, put what sounds like a fair and reasonable offer in place for Darcy Parish. What do you think will be the outcome there?
It's a hypothetical, but all I know from experience is when a player desperately wants to stay at your club and the club desperately wants to keep him, the deal gets done. That's been my experience.
And do you think that's the case?
I hope so. Yeah. But I'm clearly not involved in the negotiation, but it's he's really committed to us and we're really committed to him, so they'll sort it out, I'm sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brett.
Thanks.
Thank you.